All right, everybody. This is the UnHappy Gilmore Show, powered by Green Legion Radio. Welcome to another edition, and a very unhappy Wednesday to all of you. Or Bryant, Hump Day, absolutely. We wrap up as you know, I like to call it day 3 of this week's hostage situation, and we look forward to tomorrow, which is what? It's Friday Eve, right? Can't be mad at Friday Eve. We're particularly slow over at work, so it's like it's like nails on a chalkboard over there. I actually hate it when it's that slow. When it gets real slow at work, the days just drag. I'd rather it be, if there's going to be one extreme or the other, I would much rather it be just balls to the wall, busy like crazy, than this. So my week feels like it's taking absolutely forever, and for me, it's a short week too because I was out on Monday coming back from Milwaukee. So um, we've had a lot of rain here for the first time in quite a while. Needed it. I hope everybody else has enjoyed at least a little bit of cool down too. I know I know the whole country's kind of had a big ass heat wave. It was pretty hot and humid up in Chicago and Milwaukee over the weekend. And it's not real hot here. It's muggy. So a lot of rain. It's actually good. We've needed it. So who do we got in the room so far? I know a bunch. We got Bryant. What's up, bud? Lou, Drew around the corner. Missy, Knobber, love it. Aiden, what's up, kid? How are you? Fito, my brother. Yep, and I'm sure we'll have a few more chiming in. Somebody just asked Aiden, what do I think about the Julio? So you're talking about Julio Jones, I assume, going to Tampa. Look, that's the Brady effect. Guys who want to at the end of their careers trying to take a shot, see if they can put together a winner one more time. That's what that's all about. I think Lou down here, Lou Mancini hit it on the head. I'm hoping Julio is just washed up. Absolutely. I think that the first part of the year, that combination probably has a chance to look really, really good for the first maybe 3 to 5 weeks. And then what we're hoping for, at least as Eagle fans or as fans of really anyone else besides Tampa, is that, Julio just, age is catching up with him. You'd really like for age to catch up with this freaking Brady already, right? I mean, what is enough with that? Go ahead and get your 10-year, whatever $1 million a contract you're getting with uh with Fox once you're done. We've had enough of you. PJ Keller, what do you think about Denver? PJ, I think you're another one of Grady's friends. So he's talked about you before. I appreciate you hopping in. What do I think about Denver? I like that they have Russell Wilson. I like the head coach hire. I think they hired an offensive head coach in a league that has gone completely towards mostly offense. A lot of people think Russ is washed. I do not. I think Russ looked not quite as good in Seattle. Granted, this is a Seattle team that is coached by a guy in his 70s who is a defensive head coach in an offensive league. The league has passed Pete Carroll by. Now, I'm sure he'd love nothing more than to run Geno Smith out there this coming year and have some success. But I mean, let's be honest here. How much fucking success does Geno Smith ever really had? I don't see it. They're in a really tough division. I do like Denver. The only thing with Denver, Bud, is they are in what is easily the toughest division in football. Okay, so week in and week out, I am really looking forward to watching AFC West games this year. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But I think it's going to be tough for anyone to really pull away in that division. Kansas City loses Tyreek Hill. I think that's a bigger deal than people want to admit. Denver gets Russ. Jerry Jeudy, Aiden is not booty. Okay, kid's a good wide receiver. They just needed a quarterback to throw him the ball and an offense tailored to move the ball. Nothing against the previous head coach. I think it was Fangio, wasn't it? but the league's going offense. You got to get with the times and move in that direction, and they're doing that. So adding Wilson there, I think Wilson makes them a much better team. So I expect them to contend for that division. And then there's the Chargers over there. So Justin Herbert, he's going to face constant comparisons with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's taking a team to the Super Bowl where, if you look at all their stats, the Bengals had no business being in the Super Bowl. But when you have a quarterback who is that confident, and Joe Burrow toes the line between confidence and arrogance. He just doesn't quite create. He might kind of squiggle around it a little bit sometimes, but he doesn't ever really cross him. He just brings with him this huge amount of confidence, and it's contagious. I said this last year too. It's absolutely contagious. You can see it throughout the team. And Herbert is going to constantly be compared. Herbert might be more physically gifted. I think much bigger arm. Excuse me, a much bigger arm, and it's probably a more gifted physically quarterback. But there were a lot of guys more gifted physically than Joe Montana too. Joe managed to go out and win 4 Super Bowls. So we'll see what happens. I'm not going to jump on the whole Joe Burrow and Joe Montana comparison. I mean, Burrow's already behind him. He's 0-1 in Super Bowls. Joe Montana went 4-0. But that's the comparison that's going to happen with Herbert. Now he's got to take that next step. And we're going to get into some young quarterback stuff, especially as it pertains to contracts. We're going to get into that a little bit later on. But I expect the Chargers to be tough. And the Raiders are going to be tougher than they were. Derek Carr is probably the worst quarterback in that division. If that gives you any insight as to just how good that division has a chance to be this year, provided everyone stays healthy. So as far as Denver goes, I think they contend. I think they'll look strong. It may be a little rocky coming out of the gates as they kind of get used to each other and everything. But that Denver locker room is going to get a dose of a professional quarterback coming in. Russ is going to go in there, and he's already there, and he's going to be one of the first in the locker room, in the weight room, on the practice field. He's going to be one of the last ones to leave. He knows what it takes to win at the highest level, and he's going to show these guys exactly what it takes. And my hope is that that in Denver, he's the type of leader that, just demands that sort of work ethic from the rest of the team, because I think it'll make the team better and it'll make the football more enjoyable. Let's go back over. You guys are at it tonight already. On fire. Today was my Monday, so tomorrow is my hump day. Good Lord. Fans are delusional. Nice, Aiden. Wilson is too good of a human being not to bounce back. I agree. I think he's a good dude. I root for him. I hope he does well. Let's talk about how bad the varsity kicker is for Fairfield High School. You guys take that shit offline. Nice. Fito, whoa. That's my boy, Cool Joe. Yeah, no doubt, man. I always considered Montana the best until Brady had that Super Bowl against Atlanta. Once he came back, once he led the Patriots back down 28-3 in that Super Bowl, I was done having the conversation. There was, to me, I personally felt like the argument ended right then and there. It was over. Like, I'm done with it. Montana is my guy, but Herbert has a cannon compared to him. Absolutely, Lou. And that's what I'm saying. He is probably more physically gifted than Joe Burrow. But Burrow's got that just that confidence, man, that just spreads through the whole team. So I think it should be a fun season. And, training camp, we're underway here. I'm not going to get too wrapped up in it just 2 days in. I'm sure by next week we'll have plenty to talk about. For those of you that joined in on Right on Cue last night, Quimby said the same thing. Right now it's, this guy came in wearing this pair of shoes, or, by next week we'll have plenty of stuff to talk about You'll be a week in the camp, that much closer to preseason, and away we'll go. And as I advertised on Facebook, we're going to start working back towards more football here on the Unhappy Gilmore Show. I'm not going to abandon ship on baseball. Baseball it's still my favorite, but football needs to start coming back into the fold here. And as the baseball season goes on and football gets closer, we'll balance it out, whatever the bigger topics are, and we'll go from there. So Fito said earlier, squirrel. Yeah, well, right off the jump, I got to start getting questions about the AFC West, and yeah, so I like to dive in. I like interacting with all of you guys. It makes this so much more fun. And I can do I can do this whenever I want. So if I put this, if you look in the comments now, right? Yeah. So that link there would allow you to jump in the room with me. Yeah, and I'm not suggesting anyone do it now unless it's something you want to do. Keep in mind, you've got to be like, I can't have a whole lot of background noise, all of that sort of thing. So, yeah, be ready for that if it's something you want to do. I do know that Fito is going to join me sometime over the next few weeks. Him and I are going to speak this weekend. My friend Sam, working on getting him on here too. So it'll be more than just my fat head up here talking the whole time. So how the hell was everybody else's weekend? Mine was awesome. Those of you that follow me on Facebook, you already know that. We had a good old time. We took the family trip up to Milwaukee and worked in a few hours in Chicago. We weren't there for very long. So where were we at? I have background noise, a bunch of bitches. Sounds like me when I'm at work, Russ. I like the 2 + 2 = carrot from last night. Yeah, that worked out well. Last night was a fun show. We had a good time. A lot of laughs last night. It was good. I missed it the week before. Quimby didn't have the show the last week, and I look forward to that one. That one's a lot of fun. There you go, Russ. I'm at work, right? So I totally relate with you. So Milwaukee and Chicago for us. We had a blast, guys and girls. It was a great time. We left last Thursday. Right about it's just closer to 1 because we stopped and got some lunch for the road. And we got to the hotel in Chicago just before 7 p.m. or in Milwaukee just before 7 p.m. Central Time. So it was a bit of a long ride. We ended up in and around Chicago, kind of right around rush hour, which really sucked. That held us up a little bit. But so, I mean, we didn't even, I went in, I checked in, I got the room keys, got right back in the car. We drove down the street and went straight to Lou Malnati's for Chicago deep dish pizza. And it's a chain place. It's probably not the best, but I like it. I'd been to Chicago a few other times, and I like Lou Malnati's. I think it's good stuff. The kids all loved it. So then back to the hotel, sleep. We got up Friday and started hitting it, guys. We straight downtown in Milwaukee. We went to Discovery World, which is right on the lake. They really cool stuff there. A display set up of what how the lakes are positioned and where the cities are alongside each lake, including the cities in Canada. There's a little aquarium in there, and then a lot of kind of STEM and technology things for the kids to do. They had a virtual reality thing. We were there for 2.5, 3 hours. Kids had a blast. Then we walked up into downtown Milwaukee from the lake there. Walked up into downtown, and there's a building there that has a giant mural of Giannis, the Greek freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think that's how you pronounce his name. The Greek freak who plays for the Milwaukee Bucks. Awesome thing. One guy did this thing, and he's huge. And my oldest son, being a big NBA fan, I didn't tell him. So as we're walking up there, we got close, and I told him to close his eyes. This fucking thing's huge. I can't hide it from him. So I told him to close his eyes, and we got up front of him. I said, "No, open your eyes." And his look on his face was cool. He's like, so I mean, I took some pictures there. Then we walked back down towards the lake, kind of walked around, um, took some pictures outside the art museum. Looked like there was a wedding party at the end of the ramp there, though. But the lake was beautiful. It was a gorgeous day. It was hot, but it was nice. Um, then we went and had lunch. Nice burger joint, uh, right in the middle of downtown Milwaukee. I got a bison burger. That was awesome. And then we went to the Bobblehead Hall of Fame, which I'm telling you guys, if you ever take a trip to Milwaukee, please don't skip that. It sounds cheesy, but the admission is only $5, and it is so worth it. There is so much cool stuff there. I couldn't possibly take enough pictures of all the cool stuff in there. The kids got to do a little scavenger hunt, and they got like little, the little rubber bracelets and stuff for it. One of the things they want you to do is find Waldo. So they have a Waldo bobblehead that they move around each day or each hour or whatever, and you got to go find it. But there was just a lot of really cool stuff in there. I would have gone back and paid another $5 to go in. I thought it was that cool. But that pretty much wrapped up our first day. I mean, we hit it pretty hard. Got back to the hotel. Kids went swimming. We had dinner. You know, then Saturday was the Saturday. So this is where we worked in the kind of Gilmore baseball trip into the family trip was Saturday. And I've done a lot of cool things with my boys on these baseball trips over the years. 2019 hitting Bush Stadium in St. Louis, and Kauffman Field out in Kansas City, Target Field up in Minneapolis, and also the Field of Dreams, the Negro League Baseball Museum, and the Mall of America, and the Gateway Arch. That was all in one trip. And COVID coming right after that kind of screwed us up. It forced us back up here to Ohio. It did a lot of bad things to a lot of good people. So I mean, I was fortunate enough where we had options, but we took a hit. So this was like the first time we were able to get back out there. Last year we went to Cleveland for a day. It's been about getting Liam, my 12-year-old, or going on 12-year-old, getting him caught up with his older brother these last couple of years. So we went to Cleveland last year. We went to Detroit in April of this year, and we saw Miggy Cabrera get his 3,000th hit. You guys remember that? I covered that on here. That was absolutely amazing. So this trip, I said, we are going to really give it a big shot, something I've not tried to do with you guys before. We're going to hit 2 stadiums, 2 games, 2 stadiums, 2 cities, 2 states, one day. So we got up, and I promise I'll get back to the room here in just a minute to answer what you guys have there. We got up and got out the door of the hotel at 8 o'clock in the morning, Milwaukee. Got to Navy Pier in Chicago at about 9:45 in the morning. I parked at Navy Pier, car safe in the garage there, or as safe as it's going to get in fucking Chicago. We all get out. We're walking up out in the Navy Pier. There's a children's museum there. So I figured I could get my my wife and daughter to do that while the boys and I went over to the south side. So right when they were about to go in, we hopped in an Uber, the boys and I, down to Guaranteed Rate Field on the south side, which if you go to Chicago to see a White Sox game, you want to you probably want to go during the day. Just a suggestion. I had no desire to be on the south side of Chicago at night. So we got down there at about, it was about 20 after 10. And the gates opened at 10:45. So we walked around the outside, took some pictures, and then went on in, and we got our pictures of the monuments. Now, there's not a whole lot of photo opportunity at Guaranteed Rate Field. There's just not. But there is some. So, there's got some statues there, Minnie Minoso, Luis Aparicio, and, of course, my favorite was Frank Thomas. There's Charlie Comiskey, which I told the boys if they wanted to give Comiskey the finger, I was okay with it. And then what's the other one? Oh, and Paul Konerko. So we got pictures of all that. And the messed up part is, and I covered some of this a couple of months ago, I think, or at least a month ago. Chicago, when you at the White Sox, anyways, whatever level your seats are on, that's the only level you're allowed to walk around on. So you can't go there, buy cheap seats, and then come down and be able to see the monuments. You have to buy the tickets on the 100 level, which is bullshit. But anyways, I ended up having to buy them. So I bought them. And the thing was, the front row right on the field was the same price as the back row and the field level tickets. I said, well, if I'm going to have to buy them anyways, sit in the front row. Right down there, the Cleveland Indians pitcher is warming up in front of us. That kid can really pop it. The mascot, Southpaw is the White Sox mascot. He comes walking by, so my boys got a picture with him. That was cool, and we stayed for about 4 innings, I think, total, and mostly because of time constraints. We had to get back. So we leave there, get back in an Uber, go back to Navy Pier, pick up the girls. They had a good time. Unfortunately, the Children's Museum there was a little bit meant for younger kids. So Brooklyn had a good time, but not quite the time she was hoping for, I think. Walked around on the inside at the mall area for a little while, and then we got back in the car and drove back up to Milwaukee. I dropped the girl, and I don't know if you can hear my son outside there. He's yelling Southpaw outside my door. Will you knock it off? It's Liam, my 12-year-old, going on 12-year-old. So we get back up to Milwaukee, drop the girls off just a little bit after 4 p.m., and the boys and I went right over to Miller Park, which is now American Family Field, but I like calling it Miller Park. Just makes more sense. Took our pictures the outside there. There they have a statue of Bob Uecker. They got a statue of Robin Yount and a statue of Hank Aaron, which, so those are really cool. So we got our pictures there, went on inside, got to see a little warm up, got to the gift shop, got our passports stamped. We did that in Chicago as well. And we ended up there to just about the 7th inning stretch before the boys had just hit the wall. So in the 6th inning, they, for Brewers home games, they do the sausage race. Oh, there she is. As Brooklyn and I had lots of fun. For everybody that is my wife, Mrs. UnHappy Gilmore. Thanks for chiming in, darling. So they do a sausage race in Milwaukee, and it's an Italian sausage, a hot dog, a chorizo, a bratwurst, and I forget what the other one is. But there's just these dudes in these costumes, and that's the original kind of, like, I know a lot of other places have adopted that idea, but that one's the original. So, the boys were getting kind of antsy and stuff. My middle was not feeling all that well. We needed to go get them some fresh air. It was really stagnant in there. So it's really cool in Milwaukee. They have they can close the roof. But on really hot and humid days, you close the roof, you can still play ball. The rain's not getting you. But that humid air just sits in there. And we were behind home plate, but upper level front row, which it's some of my favorite seats in the house because you really get a good with the pitches and everything. But right there, the kielbasa. Thank you, Lou. That's the other one. I forgot. I lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah, the heat. So sitting up in the upper level like that when the roof was closed and the humidity that's there, I mean, it was just really thick and nasty. So I had to take Liam, walk him around for a little while. We got him his little ice cream helmet. That's the other thing we do. We get our passport stamped, and these guys get ice cream in the mini helmets for every stadium that they've been to. And that was the end of the day. We left there. We felt feeling good about ourselves, and we pulled it off. I was nervous about it, considering that having to drive. It's just Chicago was part of this. Anything can happen there, be it traffic or if some bad weather came rolling in. You're right on the lake with both of these. Well, with Chicago, it would have made a difference. Milwaukee, it wouldn't, but and some bad weather can roll in out of nowhere. I mean, it's also Chicago. You don't know how the humans are going to behave. So I was nervous that God forbid something happens, but we pulled it off. You know, uh, 2 games, 2 ballparks, 2 cities, 2 states, one day. And to be able to do that with my boys is just, I mean, it's awesome. So we had an absolute blast. Sunday we got up and we went to the Harley Davidson Museum in Milwaukee. That's where it started, where they first started the company. And that was really interesting. I'm not a motorcycle guy. I'm not a bike guy, but I am very interested in American history, in particular, American history as it pertains to like your like businesses like that where they had to start from scratch. I mean, these guys built their first motorcycle in a 10 by 15 shed. So I mean, it's really impressive stuff there, and some fun stuff too. So those of you that follow me on Facebook, go ahead in there and check out the pictures. I've still got to post up some more. I've been a bit of a slacker the last couple of days, but kind of worn out. From the Harley Davidson, we tried to go over to the Milwaukee Public Market and have lunch, but my daughter hit an absolute wall. She was a wreck. She started crying. She was tired. She was hot. She was worn out. It had been a long weekend on everybody, all the walking and the sightseeing and everything. So we decided to leave, get back closer to the hotel, and we went to Portillo's for lunch. So the kids and my wife got hot dogs. I got the giant Italian beef sandwich. We all smashed a bunch of food. And then my wife and the boys went over to the mall that was near there. We were staying in Brookfield, about 15 minutes west of downtown Milwaukee. And my daughter and I went, and she wanted to lay down with her daddy. And she lasted maybe 3 minutes and she was out and slept for 2.5 hours. So, but that was the trip. Monday we got up real early and drove back home, and they were all real great about getting up early and moving it. So, I mean, we had an absolute blast. Like I said, anybody that followed along the posts on Facebook, it was you could see the fun we were having. You saw my wife's post before. Her and Brooklyn had a good time too. So, I mean, it was fun. It was great. And we look forward to next year for when we can do this again. Next year, I do believe we are looking at Philadelphia. Um, and it'd be Philly with a day in Baltimore on like a 4-day trip, or Philly and Washington, D.C. kind of split in half on a week-long trip. It'll all depend on what we can pull off. I was going to take the boys to Camden Yards on Labor Day weekend this year. But I forgot that it's just not in the budget, really, to be honest with you. It would have been a little irresponsible to do that. So chasing ballparks to me tends to get like a drug. So once one's behind me, I'm just jonesing for the next one. So when I saw, I can pull that off, you got to reel yourself in a little bit. So we're not going to do that. What we are going to do is this Saturday, those ballpark passports I told you about and that I showed you last week. There is a Facebook group called Ballpark Stampeders, and the stamp is capitalized because that's you get your validation stamp. Well, they're doing what's called a stampede this weekend, and it is at Great American Ballpark right here in Cincinnati. So it's a free event. All the organizer asks is that you have the big book, which is the ones that my boys and I have. So we're going to get down there at about 11 o'clock on Saturday, meet and greet from 11 to noon. We're going to get to tour Great American Ballpark and the Reds Hall of Fame from noon to 2. From 2 to 3, there is a question and answer session with Reds Hall of Famer and borderline baseball Hall of Famer George Foster, who ironically came and spoke at my Little League banquet, I think in like 1986. I don't know if he's going to remember that, but I'm certainly going to ask. From there, we're going to go and sit behind the Reds dugout and watch batting practice. And then we all get a field level game ticket. So we'll be able to catch the ball game too. And that's all for free. All I've got to do is get down there, park, and buy some hot dogs. So we're going to do that on Saturday. And that will wrap up the baseball stuff for the year. for my boys. Unless by some chance I hit that $1.2 billion jackpot on Friday, in which case we're going to see more stadiums, and y'all come along with me. We'll go have a good old time. But that was the Chicago Milwaukee stuff and what we got coming up this weekend. So I wanted to share all that with you guys, and I do want to get back over the room. I feel bad I've kind of neglected you guys a little bit. Drew, which stadium was better? Miller Park. Don't get me wrong. Guaranteed rate on the south side. Just call it Comiskey or whatever. The White Sox stadium's nice. It really is. But Miller Park is definitely better. Russ Taylor. Y'all need to come up with a show. I'm way ahead of you. Absolutely. Yep. That's going to be a thing. That was definitely a highlight from last night. Keenan, my weekend sucked wet, stinking nuts. Had to work and all that heat. Man, I'm sorry. That really blows. I hate working weekends, which is why I just don't do it. Is that a Hartford Whalers hat? Can you see behind me? Because I'm supposed to have like a virtual background here, but if you guys aren't seeing it, let me know. But yes, hanging up behind me is a Hartford Whalers hat. That is the truth. I am from Connecticut. I am not. I don't root for the Hurricanes now, and I really wasn't a Whalers fan, but they represent my state a little bit. What else we got here? Brooklyn and I had a good time. Sausage race. I bet the ladies love that. Giggity, giggity, giggity. Attaboy, Russ. Where else we at here? Any cheese curds? Yes, we did have some cheese curds. Probably not as much as my son would have liked, but we did have some cheese curds, and they are awesome up there. So my middle, his birthday's next week, and so we're having his birthday party a week from Saturday, and he wants his birthday theme to be cheese now. And so, yeah. Lou Mancini, Little League in '86. Yeah, I was 7 years old, bud. Sorry. I'm 43 now. Get away, Liam. Get away from the door. You can't do that right now. I have dancing girls behind you. Nice. Hopefully my wife doesn't hack that feed. I'm buying a motor coach and a driver after I hit that mofo. Damn right. Yeah, I am traveling like John Madden, dude. I'm going to have the cruiser, and we're just going to go. All right? Y'all want to follow along? Y'all come along with me. Tickets are on me. So that, like I said, that was the weekend. That was the trip. It was a great time, and we look forward to what we can do next year. I can tell you that Philly's definitely looking like the front runner. It's just a matter of what else we mix in there. Having lost a couple of seasons to COVID and COVID forced financial stuff, I need to start knocking out more stadiums with these boys. So you definitely want to look for us to hit at least 3 more next year, be it some combination of Philly, Baltimore, and DC. Baltimore maybe its own little quick thing from here with just the boys. I kind of like the idea of taking a week and spending half of it in Philadelphia, with the whole family. Spending half of it in Philly where the boys and I get a game in, and the other half of it in DC where we get a game in there too. But it also allows you enough time to see really like the most important stuff in our nation's history. Right? The boys saw some of that in January when we were there for an Eagles game. But it was quick. It was rushed. It was, we didn't really get to sit and really take it in. It was kind of, let's go here. This is the staple stuff you had to see, Independence Hall, the Liberty Bell, that sort of thing. We went to the Ben Franklin Museum. But my daughter hasn't seen that. And none of them have been to Washington, D.C. before. So that kind of feels like the right family trip for next year. But I want to get Camden Yards done next season for sure. Unless, like I said, we hit the damn Mega Millions, and then I can do it whenever the hell I want, right? Dave Connor is here, spreading joy. DC is boring. Well, it is our nation's capital, bud. and I think everybody should see it once. I've been there a couple of times, but not since I was much younger. So, and it would be a one-time thing, and we'll get the ball game out of the way, and that'll be that. But Lou, what do you got there? If you go to Philly, so you have to get a John's Roast Pork, best pork or cheesesteak in the city. You're not the first person to tell me that. I will try the roast pork. My favorite cheesesteak is Jim's on South and Fourth. That's my favorite place. But I'm certainly open to suggestions on wherever else. Believe me, I'm uniquely shaped to enjoy a lot of cheesesteaks, which is something I've got to cut out. This trip, we ate so much food. And you're in Wisconsin, so it's cheese, and Chicago stuff, so it's deep dish and cheese and bread and cheese and meat and like I've got to chill out. So today I brought like chopped up chicken and a salad for lunch. Michelle is making burritos for dinner, but I'm just gonna have like a bowl. We're gonna get the carbs cut out and try to start working my way back to at least some sort of respectability. A couple of years ago, I was pretty proud of myself. I was back down just under 200 pounds, and was feeling pretty good. And then I kind of let all that go to hell. But anyways, Russ, if I hit, you'd know because I'd be gone for social media for quite some time. I wouldn't. I would be out there just living it up, and you'd all know it too. So that was kind of the first half of my spiel tonight. I think somebody asked about Navy Pier. Navy Pier was nice. It would have been cool to be able to spend some more time there. We were in kind of a rush. But maybe we can get back there someday. Dave, I know you're allergic to exercise, but that allows you to eat more of what you want. Hey, Dave, I don't think you're really one to make comments like that. Okay, so you seem to enjoy quite a wide array of chow yourself there, brother. Just saying. Keenan, I'll be your tour guide for Philly. Show you where Wilt grew up, where Kobe cut his teeth on a West Philly playground, Will Smith's home, and a bunch of other crap. Dude, we'll be in town. I'm thinking like 4 days there and 4 days in DC. Or split the pot, however, which way we want to do it. And we'll see. Well, we'll start playing it next year. I got the baseball schedule for next year has to come out first. That's usually sometime around the holidays, in and around Christmas, New Year's, which was always a great thing for us because that was when we would start to, plan our baseball trip for the next year. So now we can hopefully get back to some of that, starting with the release of the schedule this year. And we'll be looking for a week where, Philly's at home, maybe the front half, and the Nats are home on the back half. English is in the room. Knobs. Gallo is a knob. Let's give you a quick Gallo update. Stat of the day for Gallo is a knob. Aaron Judge has 38 home runs coming into play today. Joey Gallo has 37 hits coming into play today. So Gallo is a knob. You're not going to get a big rant this week. I'm in too good of a mood after the after the family trip. So, but that's your tidbit of Gallo for the week. Thank you, English. F Gallo, knob. Damn right. We're on board there. Yeah, that was really it. That was all I had for our trip. So, no, Mike, no English, not 37 in a row. That's 37 hits total on the season. Aaron Judge has 38 homers. This knob has 37 hits. Yeah. And the Yankees actually had the nerve to send him up as a fucking pinch hitter last night. Here I said I wasn't going to rant. How in the blue hell do you not have a better option? Why would you send anyone up there to pinch hit? Pinch hit? Let me explain to you the only time I would send Gallo up there to pinch hit. for anyone. You're less than 2 outs, and you're in a situation, where you have a poor hitter at the plate who may ground into a double play. I'm sending Gallo up then because he's going to strike out and he's only going to cost me 1 out. That's the only time I'm using Gallo to fucking pinch hit. Scumbag. If that guy can't get the hell out of the Bronx quick enough. Fucking son of a bitch. I was in a good mood, too. All right, we're good. Let me get. Michael Jordan was a better hitter. I agree, Keenan. Gallo's he's a knob. He's a bum. Get him out. Anyways. So the other thing I told you we would talk about tonight is some quarterback contract stuff, right? Football season just around the corner. Training camp has started. We want to start pulling some football stuff back in. Yeah, Fito, that's a short-lived rant tonight. I didn't intend to do it at all, but god damn it. Pinch hitting Joey Gallo really pissed me off. No, English, you didn't get me knobbed up. The knob got me knobbed up. Anyways. So, we'll start with the most recent, right? Kyler Murray, 5 years, $230.5 million, $29 million signing bonus. His average annual salary is $46.1. His total guaranteed is $106 million. Now, we're going to go through this, and I'm going to do this because on the heels of these guys, there's some other dudes that are going to need to get paid. So Kyler Murray, I have it broken down. His cap hit the next 2 seasons, this year and 2023, is only it's 12.6, just under 12.7 this year, and just a hair over 16 mil next year. That's not awful at all for the Arizona Cardinals. The problem becomes the last 4 years of this deal, 2024 through 2027, his cap hit in order is 51.8, 45.6, 55.5, and 43.5 million in cap hit from 2024 through 2027. So if they don't find a way to restructure that, or, is this kid, they had to write in that in his contract, they had to put for him to be in the film room at least for 4 hours a week. I mean, was that really necessary? You try to tell me this kid doesn't like study film at all? I feel like it's a little nuts with that. This is a kid. I think he was 42-0 in high school. He was a Heisman Trophy winner in college. He's taking him to the playoffs in the NFL, so he's got to be doing something right. But they wrote it into his contract anyways. So maybe there's a Jamarcus Russell thing. We kind of covered some of this on Right on Cue last night. My stance is I think the Arizona Cardinals see him as a bit of a brat, see Kyler Murray as a brat, as a bit of a me guy. I think he's shown that. And so they're just trying to protect themselves and make sure that and write it into the contract that, dude, these are the things the team needs from you. That's my thoughts. So next quarterback I had up, Patrick Mahomes, right? So he kind of cracked the mold with these monster contracts. Now it did get reworked almost immediately, but 10 years, $450 million. Signing bonus was only $10 million. And I say only, but that's in comparison to Kyler, who was 3 times that, Dak, who was 6 times that, and we'll get to Dak in a few minutes. Mahomes' average salary is $45 million. His total guaranteed $141,481,905. Again, that's just what you see up front. The problem Kansas City's got is there is not really a year in this contract where the cap hit isn't huge. And the cap hit is if he was to, if they had to move on from him for some reason, right? They're stuck with him. It's basically what this means. So 2022 through 2031, here are the cap hit numbers for Patrick Mahomes. 35.7, 46.7, 44.2, 46.2, 41.9, 59.9, 44.4, 44.9, 50.4, and 52.4. I mean, so what the hell year is that? 2027, his cap hit would be just 50,000. It's $59,950,000. I mean, my God, these teams are just attaching themselves like you're hitching your wagon. And I get it. Mahomes, he showed you he should be, you should hitch your wagon to him, but holy shit. Let's look at another one. Josh Allen. See, Josh Allen. Now, look, I'll tell you now, guys, I'm an Eagles fan, but I'd be lying if I didn't say I didn't have a slight man crush on Josh Allen. I think this kid is special. I liked him. I liked Buffalo picking him coming out of Wyoming. A lot of people did not. He has done nothing but bust his ass to get better. And, it shows. So he signs a 6-year, $258 million deal. Signing bonus is 16.5. His average annual salary is $43 million. Total guaranteed $150 million. We get to the breakdown. Now, 2022, his cap hit, it wouldn't hurt, right? His cap hit is only 16.3. But then the next 3 years, 39.7, 41.7, 51.2. Now, it looks like after 2025, there can be an opt-out. I didn't look into the details too deeply, whether it's a player opt-out, team opt-out, or a mutual thing. But let's just say he doesn't and the contract continues. He hits the cap for 46.9, 40 million flat, and 41.5 the last 3 years of that deal. So, again, hitched, and you're gonna see where I'm going here in just a couple of minutes. Now let's take a look at our old friend Dak fucking Prescott. He signs a 4-year deal, $160 million. His signing bonus was $66 million. Average annual salary of $40 million. Total guaranteed $126 million. Now, Dak hits their cap for 19.7 this year. Then it jumps to 49.1 next year. And again, same type of thing as Allen. There's an out in there after the 2023 season. If that's not exercised or what have you, and the contract continues, in 2024, his cap hit would be $52.1 million. So the Cowboys, obviously, we all know that they paid Zeke when they shouldn't have. Right? They gave that man far too much. It put them in a spot with Dak. They end up giving Dak the bag, but on a short deal. Well, these contracts, these salaries they've skyrocketed. Well, now, if they don't do something here quick, they're going to end up in an even bigger problem with Dak Prescott, especially, look, I don't expect them to win anything this year. I don't really see anything over the life of the rest of Dak's contract that would tell me that the Cowboys are going to win a Super Bowl or that he is the guy to take them there. He's been shit without Amari Cooper. All you have to do is go look at the numbers. Now, that could change this year with CeeDee Lamb, but don't forget, Gallup is still hurt coming back. Cedric Wilson's still not there. He's gone. CD's going to have to be the whole show. You've got an overpriced running back and another running back who actually looks better than the overpriced guy. You have a beat-up offensive line that at one point was the strength of that team. They're beat up and kind of dismantled at this point. Their defense, Diggs is not going to turn the ball over. As a team, they're not going to turn the ball over that much again. Diggs will still be good, I guess. Micah Parsons is obviously the guy you've really got to watch on the defensive side of the ball. But I just don't see Dallas as someone, as a team, that's going to cash in on having signed their quarterback. So what's going to happen? They're going to double down on the mistake. By all means, go for it. Give Dak another huge deal. I don't think you're winning with him. Just my opinion. Now we'll get to the elephant in the room. Douchebag Deshaun Watson. Douche yacht Deshaun Watson. 5 years, $230 million. Signing bonus of $44.965 million. Average annual salary of $46 million. Total guaranteed, the whole enchilada, folks. That 5 years, $230 million is 100% guaranteed. Get to the breakdown. There is not a whole lot of fluff in there. This is where Cleveland should really be ashamed of themselves. His 2022 salary is $1,035,000. Structured that way because they knew a suspension was coming. This is one more reason why I would suspend Deshaun Watson for the whole season, to also punish Cleveland for being a bunch of douche yachts themselves. But after that, his base salary is $46 million every year through 2026. His cap hit for this year is $10 million. His cap hit for the remainder of the contract, $54,993,000 every year from 2023 through 2026. Stick it up your ass, Cleveland. You deserve it, and you're stuck with them. So these teams keep hitching their wagons to these guys, right? Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Dak Prescott. It's not always about, is he the right guy? Does he deserve this? Does he deserve that? It's also about what's the market dictating, right? There's only 32 of these jobs on the planet. And if you think you've got a guy that's in the upper echelon of that group, it forces your hand. Because the other part of it is, after the market value, where else are these teams going to go? Okay? Where was Arizona going to go? Was Kyler Murray acting like a little bitch? Absolutely. Probably couldn't reach the fucking Crispix that morning. Sorry, short round. Not our problem. But it is Arizona's problem. They don't have it. Where else are they going to go? You're going to start Colt McCoy? That is not going to happen. It's just not going to happen, right? They were obviously going to re-sign Kyler. Cleveland really just, they look like shit. Mahomes had at least won an MVP, won a Super Bowl. So, I mean, it's more justifiable. Josh Allen's been knocking on the door. Dak Prescott has not. Right? So, Dak, Kyler, and Deshaun are the ones where you're like, what the hell? And as owners of these other teams, you've got to be pissed off. And specifically, the Baltimore Ravens owner, the LA Chargers owner, and the Cincinnati Bengals owner. Why? Because Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, and Joe Burrow have to get paid. Now, I've heard a rumor, I heard something earlier today where it sounds like Cincinnati is already trying to put together a deal for Burrow to get him locked up. And that would be smart on their part, because if they allow, now Lamar's already got an MVP, but he's been horrible in the playoffs. Justin Herbert, we talked about earlier, might be more physically gifted, but he's not even made it to the playoffs yet. Joe Burrow just took a team that should have really not been there, took them all the way to the Super Bowl. If Lamar and Herbert both get their deals done before the Bengals can sign Joe Burrow, the Bengals better sit back and pray to God that Burrow has a lot of Tom Brady mentality in him and that he'll take less. Because otherwise, that contract is going to be astronomical. And on the heels of that, the Bengals are also going to have to figure out a way to keep Jamar Chase. To me, those two guys, at least on the offensive side of the ball, would be the two that you cannot lose. You really don't want to lose Higgins either. But at the same time, you're not going to be able to keep everybody. So it makes sense to get the Burrow deal done now rather than later. But that's kind of why I wanted to go through all those numbers, is to talk about those three quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson's been a league MVP. He's an incredible athlete. I do not think he's a very good quarterback, but he's an incredible athlete. And again, where else are the Ravens going to go? Who's going to start for them if it's not Lamar? No, they have to pay Lamar. The Chargers, Justin Herbert is easily, I mean, there is no decision to make there. You know, he's the guy. You got to sign him. You don't have another option. And Cincinnati's going to find themselves in the same boat. They're already in that boat, but they need to get that deal done. You want to get that deal done before the guys who have accomplished less leading their team. Now, Lamar's got an MVP, but that's an individual award. This is a team sport. Burrow has taken your team to a Super Bowl and really was in just within a couple of plays of winning that thing. I certainly felt that when OBJ went down, I felt that the Bengals were going to win the Super Bowl. I did. Because OBJ was absolutely eating them alive, which I called that prior to the game. I said OBJ is going to torch them. And he was, until he got hurt. Once he went down, that Rams offense looked entirely different. And I really, really thought that the Bengals were going to get it done. They didn't. Not that it was all one person's fault or anything. It didn't happen for them. But this is also a team where if you look at statistically, and maybe one of these weeks I'll break that down. If you look at their statistics last year, they should have never been in the Super Bowl. And they were there. They were there because Joe Burrow's their quarterback. Now, the rest of the team has to perform, but the confidence that comes from that man and how the team feels with him at the helm is the reason why the Bengals were in that Super Bowl. Let me hop back over here before we call it a night. Hate those me guys. Yep. Big risk for that contract. Yeah, we're all on the same page here, guys. Listening to these wages, 500K a year minimum wage. McDonald's, here I come. Right. So the only thing to consider, and I get it, and I know Dave is in here, and he's like, the contracts have been out of control, and I don't disagree. Yeah, here he is. Market's been completely out of whack in all sports for years now, and it has. I'm going to choose to just focus on the quarterback situation here. It's the most important position on the field. Okay. There's only 32 of those jobs on the planet, like I said before. And so if you have a guy that's at the top of that, now the other contract I didn't bring up was Aaron Rodgers. Because honestly, fuck Aaron Rodgers. I've really heard enough of Aaron Rodgers. But anyways, how good is the player? You know, if he's one of those 32, is he good enough to be one of those 32? Check that box. Okay, check. Now, where is he? Where does he fall in those 32? Is he bottom third, middle, or is he a top flight quarterback? A couple of these guys, I just named off, are at the top of the league. Mahomes, Josh Allen. You know, you can even throw Deshaun in there before all the bullshit. You know, he was putting up numbers that were unbelievable. Yeah, here, perfect. Thank you, Dave. Don't forget Burrow was sacked 9 times against the Titans in the playoffs and still won. Exactly. That's kind of what I'm getting at, dude. They had no business being in this. If you look at their statistically speaking, that Bengals team had no business being in the Super Bowl. That kid and his confidence and the way that confidence spreads through that team is the reason why they were there. And he deserves a shit ton of credit for it. Cameron Poe, there it is. The Aaron Rodgers Cameron Poe reference. Put the bunny back in the box. No time for love. Blah, blah, blah. Douche cruise ship. I still like douche yacht better. That's just my personal opinion. English. Love Josh Allen. Hashtag Bills Mafia. Even though I am not an Andy guy, I like this team and that team. We tore up Buffalo. Yes. There you go. Um, so I think my first ever show I talked about how I attended the draft in Nashville. This will be the final thought for the night, y'all. English for you. The Bills Mafia. I know you saw them up there. They travel like that too. So the 2019 draft in Nashville, I was there for all 3 days. Day two, I'm out on Broadway. It's like 9:30 in the morning, and I'm just walking around looking at stuff. All the kind of TV stations are setting up and everything. Steve Mariucci's leaning over the back of one of them playing catch with people. It was pretty cool. And behind me, I hear someone scream from out of nowhere. And I turn around and there's a Bills fan there, and another Bills fan runs up, grabs this dude, and RKO's him right in the middle of the street. Like just runs up and just like from out of nowhere and just plants this son of a bitch right in the middle of the concrete. And then got up and ran off. And this other dude gets up. I look at him like, you guys really like, he's like, yeah, it's a thing. Like, oh my God. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. That was the coolest part about that draft, though, was being able to interact with fans from every team. I did that draft. I don't know that I would do another draft. But if you've not done one, I would suggest going and doing one. But that's all I had for the week, guys and girls, and everybody in between. Am I allowed to assume your gender? It's been a fun week. I had a blast over the weekend, and we're hoping to carry that into this weekend with the Stampede on Saturday. And then after that, we got my son's birthday next week, and we'll in just a couple weeks after that, they go back to school, and it'll be time to start winding down here as we move forward towards football season and baseball playoffs, and as we get into the fall, mid to late fall, when hockey and college basketball start back up. I am not the biggest NBA fan. I'm just not. I think the product is bad. It just bombs away 3-pointers all the time. It's one of these weeks I'm going to do a whole show just on how analytics is fucking up sports left and right. Not tonight, though. That'll be a whole show worth of rant. So, y'all, Bryant, Fito, Lou Mancini, Drew, Missy, Aiden. I want to make sure I don't forget anybody here. PJ, thank you for dropping in too. Drew, don't forget to stop up sometime this week so we can rap about your trip and everything. Keenan, Russ. Did I say Fito yet? I can't. I get lost in all the conversation here. You guys are the best. I mean, you really. Dave, thank you for coming in again. I know your time is precious. So I really, English, thank you. I really appreciate everybody coming in and spending at least, even if it's just a few minutes. Thank you for spending at least a few minutes with me. I hope, as always, that that I provide some entertainment for you on Wednesday evenings here. And if you're at work like some folks, or if you're home, I hope I make your evening just at least a little bit more fun than it was before. But all of you take care. Have a great week. Next week we'll come back, and hopefully we'll have a bunch of training camp stuff to talk about. I don't want to overlap with Right on Cue and Green Legion Radio, though. So continue to expect me to mix it up a bunch of stuff. What the fuck is this? You will address me as everybody. Fito's been drinking already. Not always a bad thing, but Dave, love the show. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Guys, girls, have a great week. I'll see you next Wednesday, 6 p.m. right here on the UnHappy Gilmore Show. It is always to entertain you guys as best I can, and we'll continue to try to do so. Y'all, take care. All right, everybody. Thanks again. You guys have a fantastic week. I'll see you soon.